Morning, everybody. It is Sunday, and in the state of Maryland, it's absolutely beautiful outside. The sky is blue, 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 blue. No clouds anywhere to be seen. Can't find a cloud, but it's absolutely beautiful outside. It's cold, but it's beautiful. I'm in my craft room just for a little while, and I wanted to start sharing with you something that I want to try to create is a bed. I'm trying to do a bed. And here comes my little one. Hey guys, I'm back. I have little Noah with me. Okay, so I want to create a bed. So I'm going to be using the bottom half of an old iPhone case that we've had forever. And my husband was going to throw it away because it's dirt old. And I was like, you know what? I can use it in my Dollhouse miniatures. I can make a bed. This would make a great base. So I'm going to be using that. Then I'm going to be using some pillow filler to make pillows. And this is where I keep my pillow filler here in my Dollhouse craft room. Then I have some laces I'm considering using. All these I got at a really good price. There you go, buddy. There you go. I got it at a really, you gonna be okay? There you go. Good boy. Then I have these I'm going to consider. This one's from the Dollar Tree and the other one is from Michael's that I got really cheap. I think from a grab bag. Then I'm going to pull you down and show you the fabrics that I'm considering using, okay? I'm pull you down. All right, here we go. Here are some of the fabrics I'm considering using. As you can tell, some of these I got from like a church store. This has this great cream base with this really beautiful pattern. I'm trying to show it to you without too much. There you go. You see that pattern is a bunch of little miniature leaves. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, then I have a bunch of different laces I can consider. So I have this one that's really pretty. Then I have this one. Then I have, and all these I picked up years and years and years ago when I can find them in bags. I try to pick them up. This really tiny small one. And then this other smaller kind like that. I haven't been able to find bags of these anymore though. That's the same one. And then this last one, this like a 3-tier. Okay. Then as for fabrics are concerned, we're looking at these, okay? As you can tell, I'm trying to do like a very lacy, vintagey type of theme here. So this has this great felt, but it's thick and higher quality than your average felt. So this will make like a great little bed cover. Super soft. Then this one, this like an eyelet. Just because I pulled it out doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but I just want to pull them out. And again, I like to buy curtains if I can. And I can use the laces from curtains. So I got 2 of these, and I think I got them half price off when I picked them up. Always remember, think outside the box. If your fabric store has high prices or not good sales, but you need some fabrics, go to your thrift stores, look for curtains, look for wedding dresses, look for shirts with lace, dresses with lace, look for sheets, comforters with lace. It might be a little damaged. You get them really cheap. Go on half price day and see if you could find anything with laces on it so that you can incorporate in your designs. Then lastly, I have this great fabric here. It is absolutely beautiful. And it lends itself very well to almost any type. As you see, it just lends itself well. And it has this great like little square type of design. So these are my options. And I'm also going to be using this. This is from a nightlight from the Dollar Tree. My kids took it off and they were playing with it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use this. So I'm going to try to incorporate this in my design, and I have something in my head how I want to use it. So that's just the beginning of what I want to do. So now I'm going to try to get myself together and start the process. Okay, for the base, I decided I want to go ahead and use this really soft felt. So what I did is I simply just put my box down here, like so. I wanted to make sure that I could, actually, let me do it like this. I wanted to make sure that I was able to wrap it like so. So I can glue it, hot glue it, however I want to do it, and make sure that the bed will be covered in the spots that I want it covered. So I just made my little line right here, so I know I need to cut it right there. Now, as you can tell, I already started the gluing process. I'm just using my tacky glue. You can always use hot glue as well. Just be very careful because it is hot. When you're working with material, it can burn you. So I try to use tacky glue as much as I can until it gets to the point that maybe it just won't stick. So I'm using my iPhone top to use it as the base. So I just made sure that this was nice and tight here on the top. I did put glue on that side as well, as I'm going to put glue on this end. So what are you guys doing today? What are your plans? Are you planning to read a book, relax, get a little fresh air, doing things around the house, just relaxing, doing laundry? I mean, what are your plans? I would love to know. And if you're working on any dollhouse miniature projects, or if you have a house and you're procrastinating because you're feeling a little overwhelmed, which is an easy feeling to get when you're working on dollhouse miniatures, that you get to the point that you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, especially when you're trying to make your own items. It happens. It's perfectly normal. I'm trying to look for my lid. There we go. It's perfectly normal to feel that way. I was a great buyer. I enjoy purchasing miniatures, but now since I'm in a certain state in my life, a certain season, making purchases, I don't have my full-time job anymore. I can't just go and make my purchases the way I used to and go online and buy my stuff. It's just the money is just not there. It's just not there. So now it's crafting time. It's time to actually try to make some pieces. Now, there are some pieces that I'm not going to even bother to try. I'll just try to come up with the money, save up my money, and buy what I want. But if I can try to make it, I'm going to try to make it. Now, I do want this to go down here on the edge. So let me get my fuzzy cut scissors. I know I'm leaning over you guys, sorry. And of course they would not be in here. I had them in here. Now, I don't know where in the world they went. Oh, maybe they're over here. They might be over here in one of my containers. They might be in here. Yes, I have them in here. So, let me know what's going on. Are you planning on doing a project for dollhouse miniatures for yourself, for your child, for a niece or nephew? Because you can make castles, you can make dungeons, you can make all kinds of stuff. It's not just for girls, it's for boys as well. Because little Frankie, he had a farm and he really likes it, but he likes to play with my stuff too. And I let him to a certain point because things start to break and then I get a little bit upset. And then I'm like, okay, you guys need to chill off of mommy's stuff, or I get a little bit upset. So I'm just cutting the little corners right here, just so I can bend them over a little bit, like so. So I'm going to have to cut this in just a little bit more. Okay, my husband just came to show me how nice he looks because he is going out for the day and I am going to stay home because I don't want to go. He's got errands to run, and even though normally I go out with him, some of the stuff he's going to be doing, I'm just really not interested in doing. I'd rather just be here working on my craft and taking it easy because the whole day will be gone by the time we get home, and then nothing really gets done on my end, but he's done with everything he needs to do and everything he wanted to do. So I'd rather just stay home today. I know we haven't had a Sunday out in a minute. I just dropped some, but it's okay. So I cut off these little edges so I could just drop it that way and drop it this way. So I'm just going to glue it now. You know how that is when your partner wants to go and do something else and you're just not feeling it. It's okay. It's you shouldn't feel bad about it. You really and truly should not feel bad about it. You will feel bad if you go and you're like, oh, why did I go? I just stayed home. Sometimes you got to think about yourself and the things that you want to accomplish and things you want to get done. And this is a lot more fun for me than what he wants to do. A whole lot more fun. Actually, let me cut this a little bit right here. There we go. All right. Even though it would be nice to get out of the house without the boys, I just, what he wants to do, you guys, he wants to go and test drive a car. He wants to go visit one of his friends. He has to go to the shop. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, ugh. No, it's okay. You go ahead, babe. Go handle your business. Okay, so there's my base. Boom. And that looks cute by itself. And then if you add another little sheet and some cute little pillows, then boom, you got a bed, you guys. You literally have a nice bed. Okay? And I always put it inside the house just for comparison's sake, just to see how big or how large and make sure it's going to look okay. This is going to be a little bit more on the larger side. Now let me go and get my next piece. Okay, guys, the next thing that I did is I cut some foam core board that I got from Dollar Tree. And again, I didn't measure this. And if I had to measure it, this is what, there's a measurement. It's 7.5, almost 7.5. A little bit over 7.5 inches tall. And I want it kind of tall. And I'm looking at it and I'm feeling good about it. I know it looks a little weird, looks a little awkward, but I know the effect that I want. So that's what I did, and I'm going to glue this on. Okay, you guys, the next thing that I just did was cut out a section from my curtain. And I want to actually center this piece right here in the center. I want that in the middle. Actually, I could play around with the design if I really wanted to. I really want that centered right in the middle, right here, like so. And then I'm going to cut around it, because you can hear the boys are in here with me. And I'm going to cut around it and see what other details I will do. Okay, so now I cut up what I felt was what I needed for the bed. And that did take some doing, you guys. It took some doing. But I am just tapping the glue because it is a lace. So the glue is gonna come off. So that's why I just do the little tap method. There we go. Then I can lay it down. And I was trying to keep the look that I wanted kind of centered right there. So that's what it looks like so far. Okay. Now I'm going to let that dry for a minute. Okay, I just set up my hot glue gun, and I'm going to be using this lace trim right here to go along the whole edge of the bed. Midway point. Halfway on the side like that. So it could kind of be on the ground. You see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. So it could kind of be on the ground, but not on the ground. It'll touch, but it'll give it that nice coverage. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm waiting for her to warm up, and after I'm done, you'll see what I do next. Now, as you can see, I've already done this half of the bed, and it's looking really pretty with that pretty ruffled lace look. Now, I just did this corner. I wanted to see how I was going to try to work the corner, because obviously that's going to be a more of a challenge. So what I did was I just bent this over almost like a package, and I'm bending it in like so. Can you see that? And that's how I'm going to glue it down that way, and then I'll just trim the bottom. Let me see if I can do this with you guys here or not, because like I said, this is a little bit on the trickier side here. So I'm just taking it very slow. I'm just doing piece by piece here. Now, this is that little tricky corner. So I'm going to turn that in like so. And put a little glue in there, a little bit, just to hold it Then I'm going to continue on to the corner like so. So it has that nice little look to it up there in the front. And then I'm just going to trim off the edges. Then I'm going to continue on with the rest of the bed to add the trim. Okay, so I finished doing all the way around. I'm just going to trim it here because this is going to be the back of the bed. So we're not going to need this lace, this really pretty lace trim there. And I'll add a little bit more glue right there to hold it down. All right. Get my trim out of the way here. And then I'm going to trim this up down here. You see those little peaks that are showing? You just trim that off. Make sure you don't cut into your lace. Any little peaks that you feel are going to show, just trim them off. Nobody's really going to notice it. Okay. Okay. Then we're going to decide what we want to do over here. I don't know if I want to do the whole, make it like a little present or not. But I do know that I need to put a little bit more glue over here for this lace trim. I'll just use that. Push it down. Again, I'll just push that down there. Just like so. Do this little corner. Just like so. And then I'll trim this up a little bit back here. Okay. Just a little bit. There we go. Hold on, you guys. Now, what I just did, I just hot glued a piece. The top piece is going to go on the edge of the bed. It's going to stand up like this onto some more of this felt because I feel like I needed to keep the color uniform. So that's what I did. Now I'm going to cut this out because I hot glued it on to start my back piece. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Since I hot glued the felt, now I'm taking one of the pieces that I cut off from the curtain and I'm trying to use it for the backing, but I want to keep enough. I want to actually center this right here. You see that? I need to center this. I wish I could drop you guys down a little bit more, but I can't. I want to center that design and then I want to have enough so I could go across in the back so it has more of a finished look on the side. So I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to glue this down, give it that finished look that I'm looking for, and then I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so what I'm doing is I'm hot gluing it in the back and not in the front. And trying to keep it still. And I'm trying not to touch it because this is lace and it is hot glue. So I'm trying to be a little careful with this so I don't hurt myself. Okay. And I want to check the front to make sure that I'm still centered. Yeah, I'm still centered. As you can tell, I'm still centered. And then I'm going to continue to hot glue the back here. And I'm just using a broken scissor that I use to hold stuff down without me having to touch it and burn myself. I should have a... Ow, I just did it. I just touched it. Ah, that hurt. Okay. I should have a mixing spoon up here, right? I have enough that I could bring one up here. Okay. See, I got some on my finger. That hurt. And then I'm going to hot glue this top piece because I want the top piece. Make sure it still looks good. I want to make sure this top piece stays where I want it to stay. And I want it to actually go over. Let me see if I can make it go over without hurting myself here. And make sure that top piece is still, because I'm going to have to cut off some stuff. make sure this top piece is still where I want it to be. Okay, so I'll just put something there. Okay. And then I'm just gluing down some more and then just using a hot glue gun to hold stuff down as well. Now the back, you don't really have to worry about it. You can give it more of a finished look if you really want to. It's no big deal because this is going to be like up against the wall. And in the bottom, I wanted to give it a finishing touch. But you're not going to be able to see nothing on the bottom, so I think I'll just be wasting my time doing that. Just want to make sure the sides look good though. Okay, now I'm just hot gluing the heck out of it now just to hold back the back. Then I'm going to trim down the bottom. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do the next stage. I'm trying to do my top piece using my Minions nightlight holder here. I'm just trying to trace it out a little bit because I want to cover up that top piece. The bottom piece is white, so it's not going to be so much of a problem. I don't know if this pen is taken or not, but yeah, it is. Okay, finally. There you go. Just trying to help me figure out my lines here. There we go. Okay. All right, now I'm going to cut this baby out. Okay, so I cut out the circle. I hot glued it onto the top of the nightlight. I also hot glued the back of the nightlight onto the headboard. So now this is what I have here. This is what I have going on right here now. Now, I feel like I need to glue it a little bit more. This is kind of coming off a little bit. I'm trying to give it some reinforcement here. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry. And then we'll push it down a little bit while that dries. Okay, now out of these shorter curtain panels, I'm going to be cutting a certain amount off that I'm going to hot glue over here to the sides of that top piece. Okay, you guys, so far this is how my bed looks. Here we go. And now I'm going to try to add the finishing touches to it that I'm looking to do. Let's see if I can give you a better look at the bed. You see all the details of the lace in it. I know this lighting is terrible, and that's the back, and then that's the head part. Okay, now I just hot glued that one piece to the side of the bed. I'm going to hot glue this other piece. I'm going to try to do it with you guys here. It's a little bit hard to do, but I'm going to try to do it with you guys, okay? I'm going to try to do it. I'm trying to move as quickly as possible, and I'm making sure that I'm making this top piece go a little bit above the hot glue. Now, I did have to do several cuts for this fabric. And remember, this is lace. So be careful with your fingers, everybody, please. If you're working with lace. Then I'm going to finish this off right here. Maybe finish her off right here and bend her in like that. I don't really like it. It looks too much, but I can always just cut it. Let me see if I can cut it. But it looks like this so far. The bed looks like that. Okay, guys, this is how it looks so far, the bed. Now I'm going to add some of the same lace that I have down here on the bottom, up here on the top. So give me a second. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more lace to it. I did add that lace detail to it so far. This is what it looks like. I think I want to add this. This is like an off-white lace trim, just to give it a little bit more detail because I really wanted it to be what you would consider floofy. If you know what floofy means, I want to add that to it right along the edge. I'm kind of feeling that. It just brings it up like a whole nother notch. It's not as simple. So I'm thinking about it. But for now, this is going to be the base of my bed that I made. I wanted to do like a fancy type bed. And I might add a little trim or something along here on the sides, and I still have to make the pillows. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little small miniature tutorial of a little fancy bed that you can make right at home from the things that you have. So I'm looking forward to trying to finish her up and adding a couple more details. I'm going to think about that additional lace and making more pillows, what have you. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to try to post some pictures up on my blog so you can see better. I know the lighting in here is terrible. Let me see if I can make it a little bit better. The lighting in here is terrible, but I just want to let you see what I made. All right, thanks. Bye.